Where were you born?
New Orleans, Louisiana.
In a certain part you represent?
I represent East Side now.
Okay.
We'll get to that how later.
Okay. Still reside in New Orleans today?
I live in both Atlanta and New Orleans.
Okay. And how recent was the Atlanta situation for you in your
That's
life?
my second year in Atlanta.
And what was the reason for that?
Just to, just to get a better living condition. Like I don't know nobody here, meaning like everybody in New Orleans got to see my trial and error. So I feel like people at some point get tired of seeing the same thing. So move to a different city, different state, work on music differently, come out with different content. So it's like a fresh breath of fresh air.
So it was strictly a career choice then, a career move?
Yes.
And for people watching that might not be familiar, how far is that in travel time from?
Shit, that's an hour on the plane.
Okay.
6.5 in the car, depends on how fast you drive.
I see. And you said both, so how often do you go back to New Orleans these days?
My kids are there so much as I can.
Now, what was that like for you growing up in New Orleans? Can you paint that picture for us?
Well, I grew up in, the foster care group home. I got adopted when I was 13. That's how I ended up moving to the east. I believe my mama is from maybe like the 5th ward or the 6th ward or something like that, downtown area. But when I transitioned in the system, I ended up in the east. Got adopted in the east, grew up in the east. My friends are in the east, so that's why I adopted being from the east side. Most people, how most people be like, well, I was living here, I was living uptown when I was 2, so I'm from uptown. Like, nah, I'm from the east, I went to school there, my partner's there, so that's just what it is.
Now, how did the adoption situation come to be?
Adoption, it wasn't really about nothing when, if you don't know, foster care is like an eye-opener. Like, when the state come and take the kids from the parents, it's like, all right, you fucking up. Like, get your shit together if you want your kids. You can actually get your kids back from foster care. But my mom was pretty much fucked up, like, on the street, like, in drugs, so I was in foster care for so long, it just, at some point, by me being so young, at some point you gotta get adopted. You know what I'm saying? Unless you go into the group home. So when it was time for me to get adopted, my birth mama reached out to my foster care mama, which is now my mama, and was like, you had him the longest, would you like to adopt him? Because my mom was still in jail. My mom didn't get out of jail till I was like maybe my sophomore year in high school. So my mom asked my now mom to adopt me because she was raising me the longest out of the system. So that's how that was happening.
Does your biological mom remain in your life throughout your life?
I talk to her all the time. That's one thing about my adopted mama. She never let me feel no way towards my mama. She would always stop me as a kid and be like, listen, that's your mom, that's your only mom. So I always kept a relationship. When she was in jail, I was playing basketball in high school, so I used to go see her. Like after practice on visitation days, I go, push up on her and see her.
May I ask what she was in jail for?
You know what's crazy? I never asked her that. If I had my guess, it would probably be drugs, maybe. Probably, you get caught using so many times, you gotta do time or whatever. So if I had to guess, it would that would probably what she was in there for. That's crazy, I try to not have that conversation with my mom, you know what I'm saying? Like we talked before, and that was the past, she's clean. So I don't, you know what I'm saying? I leave it where it's at.
She is clean now.
Facts, yeah.
Do you know how she was able to get clean?
I believe jail. So when I used to go see her, she used to look good, you know what I'm saying? Healthy, had a weight, you know what I'm saying? Hair was growing. When she got out, she had got dreads. She grew them, they were super long. She just recently cut her hair, so, it rehabilitated her.
Do you remember what drug she was using at the time?
Most likely it was probably crack, because that was the popular drug in neighborhoods then, crack.
Now, you were with her up until age 13.
No, I was with my real mom till 7.
Oh.
The system, I got adopted at 13. See, once you're adopted,
okay.
I'm out the system now.
I see.
My mother is now baby. You know what I'm saying?
I
That's
see.
what we call her.
Ah, okay. So that makes more sense there, with the transparency of the chronological order. Now, I mean, up until 7 years old, do you have memories?
I mean, yeah, it's memories like, you know, being in the system, like, you know, like in New Orleans, if you, it's broken apart. It's broken apart by neighborhoods and wards. So I used to have to fight because I'm not from the 7th ward, or fight because I'm not from Uptown or whatever. This was before the East was considered a place to be. You know what I'm saying? It was only downtown, Uptown, West Bank. That's what it was. So it was, you know, it was blah, like it gave you character.
What would be the point of fighting? Why would you have to actually fight?
Because, well, you ever been to jail?
Me personally?
Yeah.
For one day. But it wasn't general population. It was still, you know, the incubation.
Right. Well, you know, like in a system, like a group home is a bunch of broken kids. So you fighting for different things. They stole this, or they want to take this. They want to take your mattress, or you know, whatever. It's just like it's baby jail, pretty much, to me. You know what I'm saying? So you fight for different things. Kids fight all the time.
But before you actually go into the system at 7, did you have memories of you and your mom?
Mm-hmm. I was a fucking crybaby. I used to always want to be under my mom. And, I used to remember like fucking sitting by her bedroom door. You know what I'm saying? Trying to wait for her to unlock it, let me in. Just, you know, I was a kid. My auntie would always tell me my mom used to like part my hair on the side, have a fat ass part in it. You know what I'm saying? But I remember a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? It just memories of being a little kid compared to teenage memories and adult memories.
Never seen her use drugs, though?
No.
Now, between 7 and 13, by the time you actually get adopted, how many different quote-unquote moms did you go through?
Well, I ain't go through a lot because foster care and group home is different. When I went to foster care, I would say mom. You know what I'm saying? I would never say Miss White, or I just say mom. So, and by me being such a little kid, I grew up into, you know what I'm saying, in use of calling her mom. Because she was like mom, she fed me, babe, like made sure I was good. So I never wanted to call her Miss. You know what I'm saying? As always was mom.
When you actually get adopted, how many adopted children did she have at the time, and how many biological children did she have at the time?
I was the only one that she adopted. She had, I believe, 6 kids of her own. She had all boys, 1 daughter. I made like the 7 kids, so I was the only one she adopted. And
how did she treat you? How were you treated amongst the biological children she had?
It wasn't like I was treated different. It was more of this is how things are going now and how you used to things. Because mind you, her kids was older than me. So she already raised her kids. Her kids was grown.
Oh.
So it was now you have a new kid with new issues of, oh, I want Jordan shoes, I want Nike, I want to do this, I want to do that. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't no difference. It was just more of a age gap.
I know you refer to her as mom at this point, but do you look, and here's an analogy here, and I ask you this respectfully, but is it like a situation like, you know how you have your permanent school teacher and then a substitute comes for the day? And, you know, sometimes when you have a substitute teacher, kids may take the substitute serious like the regular teacher, but some kids don't. They kind of get away with stuff. They try to pick on, you know, they try to find the weaknesses and all that. Was that a situation where you treat her like a substitute teacher, or how does that work?
I actually, I try to keep a lot of shit away from my mama, like the smoking, like getting into trouble, like even rap, like I try to keep a lot of. It's with me, it's respect. Like she didn't have to take me in and raise me, so I wouldn't bring on extra stress. So I go do my shit outside. You know, I ain't never get in trouble like at home. I always get trouble at school or something like that.
Because of that feeling that you just described there, like you didn't want to cause any extra trouble, you thanked her for taking you in and this, that. Is that a feeling like walking on eggshells?
No, it's more of to me, it was more of a respect thing.
Okay.
Like, I'm going to do what I won't do, but I won't bring it to your doorstep. I won't bring drugs in your house. I won't bring negativity. You know what I'm saying? It was more of that with me.
I see. So were you the only kid then that was living under the roof of her house at the time?
No, she had other kids.
Oh, she did?
She had, when first it was foster care, so she had, like, it was Sean, it was Corey, it was Leslie, it was my brother, my oldest brother, and then, in foster care, once you make 18, you're an adult now, so you could go on about your fucking life. So all of those people was older than me, so they was out the way. My brother was probably 16 when we went to foster care. So he had 2 years, and he was pretty much, you can't tell us a grown man nothing at 16, 17. He doing what the fuck he won't do. So it was at one point, it was just us two in the house.
I see. So all your siblings, you're the youngest out of all your biological siblings?
No, I'm third on my biological mama's side. I'm last on my adopted mama's side.
So third, so not the youngest, but almost the youngest on your side. So what happens to your younger sibling?
Okay, me and my brother, we went together. Me and my oldest brother, which I don't fucking know why they fucking retarded, because you should have put me with my after me brother, because he was a year under me.
Right.
So me and my oldest brother went together. My other brother, he went to Gentilly, which was like 10 minutes away, 15 minutes away, depends on how you went. My two sisters, our social worker resigned and adopted them two. So, and my little sister, her daddy took her. So I don't really know my daddy, and I know my little sister, she have a different daddy. Me, my brother under me, and my two other sisters, I think we share the same daddy. My two oldest, I don't know. I don't think their dad is my dad, so I don't know.
It's a lot going on.
Kinda, but at this point, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like I played basketball in high school, so I used to my sisters went to like John Eric. So we played them like twice on the season. So I used to reach out and like, look, I'm playing your school today, you know what I'm saying? Well, I used to try to reach out. One of my sisters used to get on the phone, Jamila. I used to be like, I'm playing y'all school, y'all should come to the game, I'll come early, you know what I'm saying, hang out or whatever. It ain't never worked that way, but it is what it is. My oldest sister, I talk to her much as I can. My oldest brother, I talk to him, much as I can. I'm more like over here. Like it was a lot of shit that I had to deal with, like growing up. Like nobody in school knew, because kids would tease the fuck out you, and that would cause a whole nother anger issue. So one of my partners knew outside of the people out my neighborhood. So people really didn't know what I was going through in school. Once I started making money, I didn't give a fuck about like if somebody found out that I'm in foster care or I'm adopted or I don't know my mama. Like I started making money, like I could take care of myself. Like you gotta ask your mama for sneakers. I could go buy me some sneakers, you feel me? So I had to grow up, because I came front like all the way up until like maybe like 10th, 11th grade, I was mad at a lot of people, like family members wise, because I'm like, why the fuck y'all would let us get broken up? Like why y'all didn't take, you know what I'm saying, amongst the family? But then as I grew up, like shit, family have their own problem raising their own fucking kids that they pushed out. You know what I'm saying? So I got off that, and By my adopted mama never letting me feel the way about my real mama, so it just, all those bad vibes just went away once I started growing up and maturing into the man I am.
So because you were part of the foster care system and the experience, what did you make overall of the whole way that situation operates and played out for you?
Well,
Hindsight 2020, looking back at things, what do you make of the system, I guess? How was the experience for you?
the system really, to me, could use work because it's no programs like to teach you about what you went through. It's no counseling unless you're a fucking nut or unless they feel like you got a problem. Other than that, they tend to like, oh, you good with this family, go ahead. But you don't know this family could be fucked up. You just don't know about it. You know about my family because their business is out in the open. Like my sister, one of them, the family member like turned her out. You know what I'm saying? So, like, was that cool? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's wrong to me. When you take in a child, you're supposed to protect them and make sure they're all right, not have somebody else of your relative straying this child into a different direction. So when it happened, mind you, I used to always try to reach out. My one little sister never used to want to get on the phone. My other sister, she would talk. But at that point, you know, as I got older, I'm like, whatever, like, it is what it is. So when it happened with her going down that road or whatever, her mama reached out and I guess wanted help. I'm not helping. My sister's fucking 17. I don't even know this child, so I can't tell her what the fuck to do. Same way if she can't tell me not to be running the streets. So it was pretty much out my hands. It was just strange that she reached out and wanted us to talk to her behind something that a member of their family done. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like the system, it could definitely use some work. Maybe 80% of it was cool or whatever, but it's just, all I remember of being in foster care is visitation days. Like one day, they'll pick you up from school and you could visit with your brothers and sisters who are all in foster care and whoever from your family want to come. You could visit. That was about the coolest thing of it. Other than that, I really don't know too much of it because I didn't care till like now. Like as a kid, you know, you stay in the kid's place. Ain't too much they tell you. It's not your business. But that's the only thing I remember is visitation days.
Aside from the, you know, what you see as, you know, a weakness that you pointed out with the whole counseling and things of that nature, maybe somebody's watching this on that side, you know, the side of this system and what can we do to make things better? What can we do to, if somebody's watching from that angle, you know, listening to this interview, hearing your story, is there anything you would personally suggest that needs to be done better while we're speaking about it?
For one, it's a job to be a social worker, to be a counselor, to run the state's department for the kids or whatever. But when it comes to a human being, a kid, a little kid, a broken kid, it's not a job no more. You have to nourish that kid. You have to teach that kid. You can't treat that kid like a stack of papers on your desk. It's like, I'll figure this out as I go. So that's the problem that I feel like they look at I was just a case. They didn't care how my day went personally unless I act out. They didn't want to know what led up to me acting out. But if I'm quiet and having no problems, then they won't worry. So I just feel like don't treat the kids as a case. Treat them, you know, treat them like that was your kid.
Now, let's say somebody's watching this right now and, you know, they're in the foster care system and they're listening to this, hearing your story, And of course, circumstances could be different for everybody. But is there anything you would say to someone watching right now that's actually in the foster care system themselves?
Don't blame people whose problem is not that. Like, don't blame everybody you run into. Like, some people is mad, just angry, blame everybody. It's not everybody's fault. And I look at it as to me, like, I don't know where I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be Fendi P. I wouldn't be a rapper if I would have been living with my family. I would have probably been a regular person, or fucked up, or dead, or on drugs, or working a regular job at rallies or something like that. So you always be blessed that you're in a different situation to have a better outcome. And that's what foster care and adoption is. Like, now you have a better chance on having a better outcome. So, you just gotta take everything in and just be appreciative.
With your sister, when you said the phrase turned out, you meant she became gay.
Yes.
In that situation, was it a criminal situation that happened there with her in that scenario, or you're just speaking, I guess, generally when we were talking about?
Yeah, it wasn't, I mean, I don't know nobody that went to jail behind it, because like I said, she was like 17. 18, you legal, you know what I'm saying? And I was maybe, 19, and so what I could do, you know what I'm saying? This was then, way before it became an abbreviation, way before it became pushed upon everyone. So it was then, back then, not like now, like to where they have Pride Month and everything is based upon you can't say this about it or whatever. It was then. So to me, it was just confusing. And like I said, like, I don't really know her. Of course, that's my sister, but we ain't been together in years. Like, I don't know how, like, what made you do that, or, like, I don't know you. So I can't judge her. But I also am not in a position to dwell on her decisions. You know what I'm saying? Because she's an adult. You want to do what you want to do.
Yeah, I was just curious because when you had mentioned the age there and you said 17, I didn't know if something criminally had happened there with her experience, or we were just talking generally speaking.
When I heard about it, it was more of this is what's going on. Like, I didn't know who the person was. I maybe met the lady. I don't know. I don't know, but I tend to stay away from it. Like, I have my own problems.
Now, okay, where are you at these days with your mother? And when I say where are you at, I meant in terms. Are you guys on good terms,
Nah, we
no
good.
terms, bad terms?
I made a joke. I was on the phone with my friend the other day. I made a joke. My mom had called me, and she needed some money to take care of something for her boyfriend. Now, I never met her boyfriend, and how I grew up, like, I don't care about niggas like that. So I made a joke. I'm like, I shouldn't give it to her, but if the nigga die, I'm gonna have to pay more in the funeral. So me and my mom, we good. Like, my mama, like, we joke. She called me, like, my birth mama, she's more, like, laid back. You know what I'm saying? So she's a clown. So she like to laugh and joke. So we good. And like I said, my adopted mama never let me feel no type of way about my mama. So growing up, I never looked at neither of them different. I love one just like I love the other.
Your biological father, you never met him?
I met him a few times or whatever, but man, I met him like when I was 6. And when I told you, see, we had I was 8. I told you we had the visitation days. He came once. So at the end of the visitation, I tried to give him a hug, and he was like, "Man, no hug," and he didn't give me a hug. So it fucked me up growing up as a kid or whatever. Then I met him again. I was like 20. I was on a attempt murder charge. And my sister, she tried to have like like a family reunion type of ordeal at a house or whatever. So I saw my little sister, not my little sister, I saw my sister, the one that was going down that way. So I saw her, but then I see a nigga like bald head man. He don't look like me, I look like my mama. So I'm like, damn, who this nigga is? So my sister like, boy, that's your dad. I'm like, that ain't my motherfucking dad. Like, I don't got no dad. You know what I'm saying? So when I saw him, you know, I shook his hand or whatever. He tried to hug me. I was like, you know, cause it fucked me up. He told me no hug. I don't want no hug. So and then he tried to like, I guess like tell me about what he heard about how I was living. But at the end of the day, like I'm 21. Like my son got my name. Like my son is Junior. He's not the second, the third, whatever the fuck. I'm senior. He's junior. So you ain't nothing you could tell me. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know you, and that's how I am. If I don't know you, then you can't really tell me nothing.
Did you ever find out why he wasn't in your life?
Nah, it just pissed me off that he didn't apologize. Like when we first met, he didn't apologize. Then we talked at the place, he didn't apologize. Then he had a daughter that knew that always would pass. I had a car wash, so we'll always pass the car wash. So she pulled up on me and we started conversing, like having a conversation, like multiple conversations. So we get on the phone, and then he gets my number and he called me, and the first thing he said was, you could check up on me. I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck you mean check up on you? You wasn't never checking up on me? Like, so, and I feel like as a man, you supposed to hold shit together. You feel me? Like, my kids, I'm gonna be there every step of the way. So they ain't gonna have to have that conversation with me. I ain't gonna have to call them and tell them to check on me. Like, we're gonna have a relationship. So I felt like it was pretty bold of him to feel like since he's sick or whatever he's going through, that he feel like I should check up on him. Like, I'm off that. You're a man. Like, you fucked it up. And the reason why I'm so that way with him, because I found out he had another son named after me. He worked at Sears. So he had a good job. He took care of certain kids. So I'm straight. Like, you feel me? Like, what, I wasn't worthy enough? I didn't, what, you know what I'm saying? Like, how you not take care of all your fucking kids? You making them. So I was always on some, like, I'm real short with you. I don't want to hear. Like, I respect my mama. Like, I overlook all that other shit. Like, that's just what it is. But as a man, I can't really fuck with it. And I'm wrong for feeling like that. I be feeling like that. But at the same time, like, fuck, that's just a feeling I'm gonna have to get over on my own. You know what I'm saying? So
Now, very ironic how you know, he says men don't hug at one point, and then here he is trying to give you a hug. But that worthiness that you speak of, that description there that you just painted, do you think he really felt this code about hugging back then? Or were you unworthy of a hug back then?
I just think he was just fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Probably was probably drunk a lot, you know what I'm saying? So whatever it was, that's not how you treat your son. You know what I'm saying? I'm a fan of fucking mob movies. That's all they fucking do is kiss each other. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't no homo shit. It's just that he just was fucked up, or he might just wasn't fucking with a nigga like that. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. Maybe one day we'll have that conversation, but until then, I don't really care to know why he felt like that.
Do you want a conversation, or you just welcome the thought of a conversation perhaps in the future?
You gotta apologize first. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I be so like, he ain't the only one that's on my shit list now. It's a hell of people, like family members, because I feel like if you pissed away my childhood, now I got kids. So make it up with them. And there's some of my relatives don't even know my kid's name or birthday. And my kids don't know their kids. So we all strangers with the same blood. You know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty cool with it on some shit.
Now, How did that comment about the hugging affect you?
It fucked me up, like, growing up. I was, like, after that encounter, I was angry, like, with dudes, like, if I get into it, we gotta fight. Like, fuck that, I'm fighting. We just fighting. I'm fighting my friends, I'm just fighting. Until I met dudes in the neighborhoods that took a liking towards me, and I saw how it was, like when you genuinely care about if a motherfucker is doing the right thing, or even if they're doing the wrong thing, you gonna stray them into not doing the fuck over you thing. So some people learn on their first time, go out there on the streets and end up dead or end up in jail for forever. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of people in my life that's not my family members that I look up to, that I took advice from, that I saw what they doing. Well, shit, or he did this and the nigga bust him upside the head. So obviously that's not what you do to a man, you know what I'm saying? So I learned from being outside, watching people, trial and error, like just figuring the shit out as I go.
How many kids do you have at this point?
I have two.
Son and daughter?
Son and daughter, yeah.
Which came first?
My son.
Okay. How are you and him with hugging?
I love my son. Like, I always, you know what I'm saying, talk to him, I hug him, I kiss him, you know what I'm saying. Only thing, the problem I feel is with younger parents when you're not together. You have to work harder, you know what I'm saying. So that's the only problem that I see. Like, if I was in the household with you, I know everything you're doing. Now I gotta, you slick. You trying to be slicker than the fuck I was. I was slick. So obviously this nigga gonna be slick. You feel me? So it's just too much. It's a lot of work you have to do, which I ain't tripping. I'm definitely on it. You know what I'm saying? It's just that it's a distance that I don't really fuck with.
Same mother for both children?
No.
Okay, different.
Yeah.
But with your own son, do you, because, you know, that comment and how it messed you up, do you overcompensate for that? Do you hug him too much? Do you kiss him too much? Do you?
Nah, I let him live. Like, when we on the phone, we get off the phone, be like, I love you. When it's time to go to sleep, all right, go to sleep. I love y'all. Talk to you in the morning. You know what I'm saying? It's like just being there. The only problem that I gotta get away from is they know me as the ass whooper. You know what I'm saying? So now he's of age to where he's understanding what I'm doing, so now I ain't gotta whoop him. I don't want my kids to be scared to talk to me. Like my daughter, the other day, I'm on FaceTime with her, and she was like, I want to tell you something, but I don't want you to go crazy. I'm saying in my head, I'm like, what the fuck she even know about me getting too angry or whatever? I'm like, that's crazy. I'm like, you could tell me anything. You could talk to me about anything. And what it was a kid at her school threatened her. I'm like, you know, I tell him, defend yourself, you know, punch him in the throat, you know what I'm saying? But the fact that she didn't want to tell me right then and there, it fucked with me. So now I have to be more softer and more understanding and more talkative and not get hostile.
Because of your past experience of, you know, your biological father and your mother, and by the way, just curious, backstory here or back information, how do you know how young you were when your biological parents had split up?
No, I don't. That's one thing I don't listen. I can't even. I don't have a picture of my dad in my head. Like I don't. I have like little pieces. Like I think he had like a big mustache. I know he was bald. He's not my color. He a little dark. He like my brother color. Like I have everything from my mom. My skin, I look like her, my hair, everything. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have a memory of this man. That's why it's so easy for me to be like, whatever, you don't exist, because I don't have a memory.
Because of your history with biological father, biological mother, foster care, you know, another person you referred to as mom, have you ever sought, and maybe you have in the past, but I'm just curious, consultation for this stuff, therapy?
Man, I had a therapist at one point, and this nigga used to be drunk as the fuck. Like he'll come to the house. I'm like, you fucking with my outside time to come talk to me. You like, but he was cool though. He just was drunk. So I was, as a kid, you know, you be negative. Like I'm like, why the fuck I gotta talk to him? He fucking drunk. It wasn't until after the fact that like my counseling was over damn near. And he had one day, he had came by the house. He was like, come take a ride with me. So we went and took a ride. Now I'm about 14. We took a ride, stop at Rally's, get something to eat. He was like, you ever been to my house? I'm like, nah, I ain't never been. Like, you wanna go? I'm like, all right, cool, let's go. So he lived in Eastover. I'm like, hold up. So this motherfucker wasn't always like this. Like in Eastover it's only like maybe 4 parts that rich people live in. And in the East, it's one place. It's called Eastover. It's a gated community, big houses. Currency living in right now. So I'm like, shit, so I'm like, I starting to like fall back and not give him as much of a hard time because I'm like, it's something that drove him into being this person that's drunk all the time or always smelling like alcohol. And of course, he had his own fucking kids. He had his own family. So I'd be like, motherfucker try to tell you what to do and can't really fucking control their own house. Like I got a lot of people that I know parents are reverends and ushers, and the kids is fucked up. Like how you fucking doing the wild shit and your daddy a goddamn preacher. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it just fucked me up. So I stopped giving him a hard time, which I had no choice. The shit was about to be over anyway. I was tired of talking to him. Like it was more of a what's going on at school therapist. It wasn't what's going on in your fucking life. So I didn't want to talk about fucking school. Like I wasn't making F's. I just was getting in fucking trouble, like getting suspended and stuff.
As an adult now, do you feel like you need counseling? Do you feel like you need therapy for maybe some of the stuff that you've dealt with in the past?
I probably could use some because my outlook and I don't have no filter, so I expect shit to 1 and 1 is 2. You know what I'm saying? Like I expect that's one problem that I feel like as humans we expect people to know. And some people don't know. Like I expect a person of age to know better. If you're dealing with this person, you know what to do, you know how to act, you know, like, and a lot of people don't. Like we, as humans, we give people too much credit. Like people don't know. Like some people grew up with their real parents, but in a broken home. So they just as fucked up as a person in foster care. They just know how to hold it in and they don't act out because they have their family. This guy in the group home, he don't have no family. Everybody is a stranger. So maybe I'm open to it, but I probably could use a little bit for the way I look at things, my outlook. But other than that, it is what it is.